All right, what's going on, everyone? Welcome to Ace Trading. If you're new here, this channel is about price action, structure, risk management, trading what the market gives us, not what we hope for. My name is Carl, and I'm welcoming you here to Ace Trading. So if this is your first time, welcome. But if you are a seasoned trader, welcome back. So today we're going to break down what's happening with Bitcoin and silver, why both are free falling at the same time, what levels just failed, and what this move is telling us about risk and liquidity across the markets. If you're watching live, drop where you're watching me from, and let's get straight to it. Without further ado, let's get to it, huh? So, I'm looking at Bitcoin right here, right off the jump, and the first thing that just comes off my mind is how price kept respecting this level of support, popping up, popping down, popping up, popping down. But guess what just broke? If we zoom in here, we can actually see what is going on, what failed right here with Bitcoin. If you really zoom in here, right? So this is a daily chart of Bitcoin. If you look up here, daily chart here of Bitcoin, BTC versus the USD. Right down here, some of these lows. We kept respecting these lows. But on Thursday, we actually got a close right below the full body of all of these supports. Not the wicks, but the full body, okay? And then on Friday, we got confirmation of closing below this candle. And guess what? Everybody woke up Saturday to this thing just selling off. And then today, selling off. But guess what? Here lies the greatest opportunity that is presenting itself for a chance to make some money in this market, okay? So for me, I look at this and I say, Bitcoin and silver are not just pulling back. They've broken structure. And when two different assets like this, Bitcoin and silver, move like this, the market's sending a loud, clear message, not just to me, but to you and across the world about what's going on. So as we look at Bitcoin for weeks, as I've just said, we've held the support zone, for weeks on end. If we go back here to November, let's go back to November, that we just kept chopping around here, but we cannot break up to the upside, right? And when we broke that support, we've just timbered to the bottom. And if we zoom back out and look about where we've come from, as I break down this chart, and I look here and I say, wow, we were all the way up here at 125,000. Everybody's screaming, everybody's jubilant, everybody's getting ready to be the next gazillionaire on Bitcoin. But for members, for me, we trade with our heart. We trade with the charts, not with our hearts. We leave emotions at the door. I trade the market that I see, not the market that I want. And from what I'm seeing on Bitcoin, I'm seeing an opportunity starting to present itself. I'm not ready to be a buyer right here of Bitcoin. I don't think you should either. Again, don't ever take any of this as financial advice. I'm just giving you my personal opinion. Keep all this within the scopes of entertainment. If you are looking for financial advice, I have to tell you to go seek out a licensed financial advisor in your area, okay? So let's keep looking at Bitcoin. I want to break this chart down. I want to tell you where I think it can go, where I expect to bounce, and how I plan to either trade this stock or this coin or play a stock that is an offshoot of this coin in the stock market this week. So let's just have a look at Bitcoin. As I look at Bitcoin, I zoom out, okay? And we got this long-term trend line. 2023, we've just been zooming up, okay? We've had points of consolidation. You can see here in 2024, we've just chopped around and then broke to the upside, came back down into 2025, made new all-time highs, and now we're falling. We're into a level of support down here around 75,000. This here could be where, if I was a Bitcoin enthusiast, if I wanted to do a swing trade, this is where I personally would look to put in like 20% of my allocation towards this type of asset. So what does that mean? That doesn't mean if I have an account of 100,000, I'm putting 25 grand in. That just means if I have taken, say, 5% of my 100 grand, right? And this is the allocation I would give to, say, crypto, then I'd be using 25% of that number to put into the market. So that's just 1,000. right? So I'd buy like 1,000 here, $1,000 or £1,000 or 1,000 euros worth of Bitcoin at say 25,000, just to dip my toe, because I would expect, and I'm expecting a move to come probably as low as, let's say 52. I'd say about 52,000, probably right down into these lows here. So if we zoom out on the chart, if we look back, if we zoom back, you can see there was a period of time where we chopped right within here in 2024 and kept holding these supports. So until we crack or get down to about 53,000, that's where I would deploy probably the next 25% of that 5,000 allocation. So I'd be halfway in, giving myself room for a deep generational swing back to the all-time highs, okay? So for me, I'm positioning myself and I'm watching Bitcoin because I can use Bitcoin to trade other stocks like MSTR, which is what's called Strategy now. You could trade the Robinhoods, the Coinbases. You could trade the miners like Riot, like Mara. You can look to trade these particular assets that are not 100% indicative of Bitcoin, but they are in the periphery of Bitcoin. So these are the things that I'm looking for. This is the things members are going to be looking for going into next week, how we're going to position ourselves to play Bitcoin as it starts to fall a little bit lower, So just a quick reminder, if this breakdown is helping you, hit the like button so more traders see this. We keep everything price-based here. We keep the emotions out of it and just the charts. We want to trade with the charts, not with our hearts, not emotional-based trading. We want to have an ace trading mentality on how we would enter and exit a trade and how we would position ourselves to benefit from this move down, okay? With that, let's move back. Let's move over to silver. Let's look at silver. Silver, oof, what another high flyer that's been taking place over the last couple months, I should say. If we just go back and look into December of 2025, we've come from $45 all the way up to about 110, okay? 110, that is a significant move up to the upside. And it's been just a non-stop train to the upside. Just look from November to just 2 days, well, not 2 days ago, but Thursday of this year, just straight up shot, okay? But like I tell members, one, they always give you another shot to get in. You can never miss a trade because they will always bring it back down. They cannot help themselves. Now, don't get me wrong. They love to take the stairs up and the elevator down. In this case, they took gravity down. I mean, they just jumped out a window and they starting to fall. But eventually, it'll bounce. Silver's not going to zero. This is actually SLV, the ETF that tracks silver. So the risk of zero, you could throw that out the window. The question is, how do you position yourself to capitalize on such a dramatic drop? Okay, we got as low as $68 on SLV and got a significant bounce, over a 10% bounce by the end of the day. However, we still were down 28% from the previous close. And from peak to trough, you're talking about maybe about a 40% drop. Let's just measure that out. We can actually calculate that, I believe. Let's see here. I think this will show it up, no? Yeah, from peak to trough, we're talking about a 37% drop in SLV. So that's a significant drop. Things do not move that. There's, members know that I like to say a particular saying, how I like things to fall a particular way, look a particular way, and this is falling pretty hard. So I'm looking to get in to silver, in the SLV trade. So this could be, I could trade SLV, I could trade the miners like Newmont Mining, like Freeport-McMoRan, which is FCX, ticker FCX, or Newmont, which is NEM. And I would look to trade these particular stocks if I did not want to trade SLV itself. But we're coming into an interesting level of support at about $65. We just bounced off 68. So let's look to see if this can fall. But we do, we always have to be mindful that it can go. I always tell members, a stock, an ETF can go a lot further down than you think. So if we do not hold the $65 level, literally support is sitting at about $50. So you're talking a significant drawdown potential from here. So you have to position yourself. So just like I talked about Bitcoin, how I would deploy, say, an asset allocation, if I wanted to allocate again another 5% of my overall portfolio, if I had 100,000, maybe I'd want to put in 5% of my overall portfolio into SLV. Okay, then I would try to deploy 25% of that. So that'd be like $1,000 now, somewhere in the $70 to $65 range. Be ready in anticipation to be able to add that other 25% or 75% of what's left of that asset allocation if we were to move back down this fast, that hard, down to $50. Okay, that's where you want to start to really accumulate SLV if you got down here for a technical bounce. And this is what, and I want to give the caveat. I'm not saying it's going to $50. I'm saying if the volume continues to tick up as high as it was on Friday and we see a move back down to $50, this is where you really want to start to scoop SLV up for a technical bounce back up to maybe about $75 if it got to $50. Again, I want to be cautious because I know a lot of people will throw out price predictions, price analysis, and you fast forward 6 months and somebody's picked up on your clip and saying, this trader said it was going to $50 and it never went to $50. Ha ha ha, what an idiot, what a trader, doesn't know what they're doing. That's not what I'm saying. What I'm saying is if the volume, and let me talk about volume. Let me show you what this volume looked like on Friday. Look at the volume. So I've just put the volume of the day. So you see Friday's red close candle. Look at the volume. We've had more volume than we've ever had in this entire run in one day. In one day, mind you. So if this volume is to return tomorrow on Monday, we can expect a move to about $50. Okay? If that volume subsides, which is possible, we can expect a bounce tomorrow on Monday to about $80 to $82 is what I would expect. So we got to be mindful. We got to watch it. We want to see the price action because that's going to determine a good trader who can get in, get up, get out, understand where we're going. Because the news of the day is silver's in free fall, Bitcoin's in free fall. You're hearing stuff on Michael Saylor, who is a Bitcoin enthusiast, who actually went negative on his portfolio of Bitcoin at $76,000 a coin. So he's barely green right now. He's only up about $1,500 per coin. So, it's going to be interesting to see. And I talked about Bitcoin earlier, and I talked about MSTR strategy, MSTR. So let's look at that because this is an offshoot. Hey, Carly, this is an offshoot of kind of Bitcoin. You pay a premium to buy strategy, the stock. If you can't buy Bitcoin itself, but you're seeing strategy. I expect to see strategy in free fall tomorrow on this Bitcoin news. So for me personally, for me and members, we're going to look to get into this thing. It has earnings in 4 days, so call this Wednesday, I believe. So we're going to have to be mindful of that. When does it have earnings? It has earnings on Thursday. But we could see a push down into the $80 range. I mean, it's significant drawdown on Bitcoin. So come Monday, let's expect to see some volatility in this name. We've pulled all the way down from 500. We're down into $150 per share in MSTR. So this is one we want to look to trade on Monday with the Bitcoin volatility. I talked about silver, talked about Newmont Mining and Freeport-McMoRan. So since we're here, let's have a look at them, understand how I'm planning to position this thing. So just like with Newmont, members know that we have traded this stock. We were buying this thing down here in the $80 range and sold it on this pop. Little did we know it was going to run up to $130. Now it's starting to pull back in. I would say on Monday or Tuesday, if we can get a break of, say, $100, we will look to trade Newmont Mining. I would expect it to come down to this pivot here, which sits at about $98. Do some support here and see if we can get a technical bounce. So Newmont Mining should be on your trading plan for this week coming up as we come into start the second month of the year, February. Okay, let's flip over to FCX, which is Freeport McMoran, another miner, but this plays in the gold market, and so we can look into that as well. Same type of story on Freeport McMoran. This thing has come from $35, ran all the way up to $70 just about, and had a pullback. We should expect and anticipate another pullback in FCX. For me personally, I'm looking at Newmont Mining. I prefer that stock. Just because it's closer to a level, its volatility tends to kick up. And so we want to look into that. So as Bitcoin continues to fall, here's a live chart of Bitcoin as we sit here on Sunday. It's at 77,605. We have to be ready for a move down to about 60 to 55,000. I'm going to say 55,000 is where I really like it, and we can look to play that. So I will be looking to see where we open in the coming days to weeks on Bitcoin as it continues to fall. But it is in free fall, mind you. But guess what? Here lies the opportunity. This is where, as an ace trader, you can make the most money when you have moves like this, because I like to use the analogy that Warren Buffett uses. When others are running for the hills, it's time to be greedy. And when everybody's enthusiastic, it's time to be ultra cautious. So that's my break on Bitcoin, on silver. I hope this is giving you some value. So drop in the chat. Are you watching Bitcoin and silver both right now? Let me know. Even if you're interested in Bitcoin or silver and how you plan to trade it. What is your trading plan? Or are you just going to sit on the sidelines and watch? It just happens that way, So like I said, this is Ace Trading. If you want to trade this kind of environment with this structure and this discipline, the Ace Trading Club link is in the description. That's where we break these levels down, live day trading with me. You see my screen basically exactly how you see it just now. We manage risk together and we avoid emotional trading, because if you trade emotionally, that's where you're going to lose the most money, because you're so emotionally attached to your own money. But if you don't have a methodology that is tried and tested, then you're going to be set up to fail, because proper preparation prevents piss poor performance. This is exactly why we trade the Ace way. We stay small, we stay patient, we let price come to us. No revenge trading, no guessing, no gambling, no catching falling knives, just trading the Ace way. So like I said, if you're new here and this is the type of breakdown that helps you, subscribe. This is what we do every day, Monday through Friday if the market's open. Appreciate everyone who's tuned in live, especially you, Carly, because I do see you here. So stay sharp, stay patient, stay ace. And with that, I'm out.